department, you should see where you are a co-host, which means you can share your screen.
We have a quorum going.
Okay, Dan.
All right, all right. All righty, let me call the Town of New Canaan Inland Wetlands Commission meeting to order. This is April, I'm not
May.
sorry, May
May,
15th. Since Angela Jameson, the secretary, is not present tonight, Beth Sanford, would you be secretary pro tem and take the roll, please?
Yes.
So going to the roll, Dan Spitanik,
Here,
Angela Jamison,
absent.
Beth Brunelli,
Present.
George Perkins.
here,
Beth Sanford, that's me, I'm here. Anthony Sillo,
Absent.
Priscilla Woke. Here. Katie Owsley.
Here.
All righty. We have a quorum. You all have a copy of the agenda. I'm assuming you all have seen a copy of the agenda.
We'll have to swear her in as a regular member. This is for the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here. Thank you. Katie, Owsley, would you substitute for Angela Javison, please?
Yes, I will.
All right, thank you. All right, again, you all have a copy of the agenda.
I don't, but I will come with you.
There you go. Does anyone have any comments about the agenda? Deletions? Corrections? If not, can I hear a motion?
Second,
Priscilla makes the motion and George seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 10th. You all have copies of that.
Yes.
Or you've read them. I mean,
You've read
they
them.
were sent, everything
read
was sent
them.
electronically.
Yeah. Any comments? May I hear a motion?
so moved.
George Perkins
Second.
and Priscilla, second. All those in favor? Aye.
Just one point of order, on the April 10th meeting, is that what you were just reviewing? George, you may not recall, but you were actually absent for that meeting, so we probably should not have you.
I think I was zooming on that meeting.
And so was
Okay,
I. Yeah.
no, I had, then maybe that's a mistake in our minutes. No, I had Dan as Zoom, but I had George as absent on April 10th.
I was there.
You were there?
It broke up at 12 o'clock, I remember.
Right, well,
No,
then-
no, it was the one after that.
Oh, it was the
It
one-
was- it-
This is
it-
April.
It was seven. Broke
Oh,
up at
maybe I
7:40.
was.
Yeah. I think you were in, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were traveling. That's right. You
Oh.
were. So
Oh,
that's correct.
That's
So
right.
just point of order, there's someone else
I
who
was in
make
Big
the,
hurry.
Yeah. So you might want to just have someone else make the motion for approval.
It should
All
be
right.
me because I signed, right?
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the April 10th
Yeah,
minutes.
I relinquished the,
And Priscilla, you're seconding it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Site visit, minutes of May 3rd. You all have reviewed a copy. Any changes? I personally was not there for the site visit. George, anyone else not there?
I'll make a motion to approve the site visit notes
On May 3rd,
on May 3rd. Yep.
I'm gonna second it.
you're seconding again, Priscilla? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, applications that are received and if complete will be scheduled for the June 12th regular meeting. We have two there, application number 222323. 181 Lambert Road, 147 Lambert Road. And the other one is, I guess, a application number 22, 23, 24, 183 Hemlock Road, Hemlock Hill Road. This is different from the one we're hearing tonight. This is a different lot number. So there are two. Again, everyone, we have a tentative site visit date of May 31st. Is there anyone that
I will not be there.
you cannot be there?
No. It's Memorial Day weekend.
I can't be there either.
I'm not gonna be there.
Okay.
either.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Maybe away that week.
Well, let's look,
Too promising.
let's look at
It's
another.
after Memorial Day.
It is after Memorial Day. The reason why I picked May 31st is because I just want to remind everyone, our regular meeting in June is June 12th and not the 19th, because we have the 19th off now. So June 12th is the meeting. So that's why I was looking at May 31st, but we could go to June 7th. And literally the Wednesday before the meeting. Puts a little pressure on me, but I can do it. Get the staff report and whatnot done. June 7th, is that a better date?
June 7th is better for me, I think. I don't have my calendar in front of me.
I'll be out of town. so-
You're away. I know
Okay,
that,
yeah.
right?
I'm not gonna be there at the June 12th meeting, so I
Oh,
don't know
you're-
if it matters.
That's
for
right.
me
So
to go
you're
to the site
absent.
visit.
So you two are absent. Okay.
We're both going to be absent from the June 12th meeting.
Right.
Okay.
As am I. I'm not here June 12th.
Oh, you're not here June 12th either.
Okay.
Okay. So, and you're not
I
sure
should be here on
Okay.
June the 12th.
traveling
On
away?
June 12th, I'm here. Yeah.
You're here.
I'm not sure about the
Beth?
7th, but
Beth, you know,
Okay.
The 12th, I'm here.
be there?
So then Anthony and Angela would be the other two.
Yeah.
Potentially. So should we try for June 7th? Unless May 31st worked for those other people, but it didn't, I don't think.
Why don't you try? Yeah.
You're not certain about May 31st?
we may be away that week.
That
I'm
week,
gonna be away
okay.
Part of it.
Okay, okay. And you're not.
Oh, definitely will be gone on May
Okay.
31st.
All right, so let's stick with June 7th then. And then I'll try to confirm the two others.
I think Anthony, when I talked to him today, he thought after this week, you'll be able to attend different
Okay.
things. Okay, so,
Okay.
I think it was a shot for him.
Okay, thanks. So I'll check with Anthony and Angela when they get back.
So that's June 7th, is that what it is?
Would be the site visit, yeah.
What, George? What'd you say? Did you want to see this again?
No, I brought my pen. It's under your chair.
You don't want to do that.
Oh, great, thanks.
All right, let's open the meeting. The application number 22, 23, 29, 11 Butler Lane, Betsy Sue Shannon. I'll just read what we're doing here. Revitalize existing rain garden by removing current plantings. Redefining the rain garden edges by installing small boulders with minor regrading as needed. Install new shrubs, perennials, and bulbs in the newly defined rain garden. And Barbara Wilson of Barbara Wilson Landscape Architects will make the presentation. Barbara?
Good evening. I'm Barbara Wilson. I'm happy to represent the clients that are away someplace in England looking at gardens. So these owners moved into this house many years ago, and it's basically a crescent shape on this survey. You can see the whole backyard and some of the side yard. It wraps around behind the house is wetlands. So it goes from here all the way over to here. What they did initially is hired a designer. They installed some wetland plants in the backyard, and then the side yard, which we will talk about today. This has started to fail in the part that here it is on the side yard between the road and their retaining wall, or not, it's actually a wall, and then their driveway. So this was originally planted with a variety of native shrubs and sedges and wetland flowering perennials. What's happened is the flows of water brought silt from the backyard. All of the neighbors above them drain into their wetlands, and it's basically clogged up. So as you can see on this picture, the drain was installed and reset by Tiger Man's office to help collect the water that runs down here. And you can see that there's a myriad of sedges and things. So basically the water can't get through anymore. And so it's ponding. So this is where now, instead of the original course was sort of where this line of rocks are, and then the other line, the water is now spilling out onto what is being maintained as lawn, even though it is a designated wetland. The idea now is to get the water to be in a more consistent area, plant some additional plants, and then keep it there so that the lawn fertilizer and things don't get into the water system wherever it ends up going. So that's one thing. And then here, oops, did I put this the wrong way? Sorry. So then this is another picture looking down from that wet area, actually in the trees down towards the drain. So you can see that it is not going, it should be aiming straight for that tree, but it is going off to the left towards the road. And then here's where the water comes from the backyard, goes under the fence. So the whole backyard collects the water and the runoff. And then it comes basically in heavy rains. You can see it's almost a stream by the shrubs if you went to the site walk. So it's pretty significant, the amount of water that goes through here. So the idea is to remove some of these shrubs and sedges that are here now, relocate them upstream, because a lot of the plants upstream have been lost. And in the new plan is have the edge be lined with boulders similar to what are there now, and reuse mostly what's there, and then both sides, and have it sort of encompass it, and then also scatter some rocks through it like it was. So it's not just a retaining wall holding it in, it's boulders just to create an edge so that they don't mow into the wetlands and damage the new plantings. And then there's a distinct edge of lawn versus wetlands that we're maintaining. So they're going to re-put in the rocks, and then we're going to put more river rocks in the channel to try to slow the water down and keep the silt from running and washing away. Hoping this works, right? Who knows how much water's there. So this is the part of the planting plan where we're putting the colored spots, or where we are putting the new perennials and grasses. We are only adding a few new shrubs. Those are summersweet or clethra, because there are a whole bunch up there near the fence. So it's going to be a textured feeling, seasonal flowers that come at different times, and all native wetlands plants. So here's some of the plants. So we're having shrub is summersweet, then the perennials include turtlehead, marsh marigold in the shallow areas, cardinal flower, Indian hyacinths, which is actually a bulb that also likes the wetlands, fringed sedge, Siberian iris, and some primroses. So basically it's updating what's there that's been there. I think it's almost 15 years now, and we're hoping that this lasts at least another 15 years. So are there any questions?
Barbara, where does the water come from? Is it coming from the neighboring yards, the one next to your clients, or the one behind your clients, or
If you want.
that's a very steep hill there. And
So basically, so here you can see in the survey, there's two lots, this
I've
one
been trying.
and then this one, because the neighbors have wetlands too. So this side to the south of them has a wetlands in their whole backyard, just the whole backyard. Except they have grass and a playscape. Anyway. The way it's angled, none of the uphill neighbors are connecting their downspouts to infiltrators. So their downspouts are all running off on their lawns, off through their, even through the woods and draining down to this low area because it is significantly lower here. So it's all, whoever's upstream is coming down.
Really?
Barbara, this is George Perkins for the record. There's construction going on about 2 houses or 3 houses up. Is that having any immediate impact on this? It's where the villagers used to live. It's about 2 doors up from you, maybe 3.
So I haven't been back since my original 3 site visits, so I don't know. It is a little drier now, but potentially, right, if it goes through the neighbors from one to the other.
I can just add a little context around that. Since 1999, the town of New Canaan does have a 0 increase in runoff from construction activities. So this is an existing condition that's sort of been like this for the remnant wetlands that's left there. This whole area used to be a farmland and then got developed over time in the 70s, I'm going to say, maybe late 60s, early 70s, way before we started regulating a lot of things, mostly wetlands. And then Fillmore didn't come along until 99, believe it or not. So as a result, I think I did point this out on the site visit to those that were with me, the town of New Canaan, and I apologize, Barbara, that I had to step out a few times. We're having some problems with the door down below. So I apologize for
Sorry.
being disruptive, but you did great. There's a catch basin on the corner of, and you may have mentioned this, Barbara, Putnam Road and
Yep, right
Butler. Yeah, there we go. So that's how they handle the water that's literally coming through this area. And it has to be controlled in that catch basin and then into our stormwater system. So the fact that there's additional construction in the neighborhood, let me just let Bill into the meeting. Sorry, trying to do a few things. And I think it's also somewhat climate here with, they have dry periods where they're not getting any water through this area, and then they'll get those, we all get it through our yards. So as Barbara was saying, the Shannons had done with the permission of the commission, I'm going to say it's 10 or 12 years ago, a landscaping for that whole rear area that got all beautified with gorgeous plants and whatnot. And during the heavier rain events and just the migration of some of the plants, everything kind of went where it wanted to go. So they want to really clean up this area and correct some of the problems and also, you may have said this, widen out that area so that it can accommodate the storms that are coming through. So, but I really don't believe it's new construction related at all, to answer your question in a long way.
Beth Sanford, I have a question for you, Barbara. In terms of the plantings that you're doing, how do they compare to what was planted 15 years ago?
So I looked at the old list. We are doing some different things. We're not adding the aggressive sedges, and there was something else, and I'm sorry, forgetful what it was. Then we're not putting them back in. So the things that we saw migrating and are here now that are clumped and everything else sort of died, we are eliminating that and trying to have things that will be a little bit easier to stay where they're put and not move around. But then again, things seed and go, and things go downstream, seeds go downstream. So.
And when would you be doing the planting?
Well, usually the only good times are spring and fall.
Yeah.
So if they get permission, probably, I don't know if we can mobilize to do it in June, but we might wait for fall then.
Barbara, let me ask you one more question related to my first question. The neighbors, do I understand that they may not be acting on something and taking care of something that's happening to them? And the water is now flowing down into your clients? Is that safe to say, or am I miss?
No, it's not their fault. It's just the grading of the properties. All the properties on that side, you can see the road.
Kind of slanted.
They're all
Yeah.
slanted, so the water
Yeah, I
runs
see.
downhill, and they just happen to be at the bottom of the hill.
At the foot of the hill. I mean,
And you
they're-
feel that this will correct it then, huh?
Well, it won't, not necessarily correct it, but it's going to manage it better and have it work more smoothly now instead of it ponding and not getting into the drain, which is what the system was originally designed to go into this catch basin. You know, previously there had to have been a stream that this went,
Yeah.
you know, because there is a road right there, it went across the road and then someplace else. So it doesn't work. It isn't there anymore.
Barbara, can I ask a quick question? Katie Owsley for the record. I'm surprised that that catch basin doesn't clog with storms and so on, that does it need any filter, or does residue get stuck so that the water's not passing through it?
So I think that this is on they do annually clean out these catch basins. I think that this is on their list.
Got it.
Right. And Katie, that basin there, it's more like a yard drain basin, but it's oversized. And and then there's a large pipe that then connects to the street
Right.
basin. So we may even be doing these basins twice a year, believe it or not. And in the event that the Shannons notice there's a problem, they pick up the phone and then Public Works will go out and make sure that the basin is functioning, because it affects the road if it's not functioning properly. So it's the town's interest to make sure it's maintained. But it's a good question, because you've got, you know, sort of like this brook that's literally going into it. And on the heavier storms, if you're getting a 2 inches in 24 hours, it's going to pound down and move some of the sediment, you know, soils through that area.
So I showed them this picture.
Oh, yeah,
Kathy,
there you go. Yeah.
and then this one,
And I meant to ask you, when were these taken? You may have said,
March.
so that was March. And this winter was not a bad winter. This is what it looked like in March.
Right.
So with no snow melt really, and just a rain event. So, oh, there's a little, oh no, that's not snow.
No,
water.
that's
water.
bark
Yeah.
mulch in the front
I see. Okay.
because I was standing under the big trees.
Right. Yeah. So I have a question, that the tree that's on the southern portion there in this photo, is that going to be removed, staying?
That's a willow. We're going to leave it.
Okay,
Even though it's
great.
an ornamental willow, it'll help
Okay.
uptake water.
Mhm.
And they do prune it and keep it maintained.
Any other questions? by anybody? Are there any, Kathleen, are there any special conditions?
I did have a special condition, but actually, it's actually being recommended for both of the applications, and it was generally something to the effect that that upon the landscaping, the completion of the landscaping activities, that a final report be supplied by the consultant to indicate that the planting has been done in accordance with the plan, or they did switch out of different things. So that's pretty standard on these types of planting plans, that we do have a special condition that requires the consultant to provide a final memo on the planting, on the landscaping.
Anything else, anybody? All right, can I hear, this is Dan Stefani. Does anyone, would anyone like to make a motion on this?
I'll make the motion that we accept the application as presented with no special conditions.
No special conditions, or one?
Or one special.
Yeah,
condition,
one
sorry.
special, yeah.
I misheard you.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion, anything? If not, can I have a raise of hands and in favor of anyone deny it? Anyone doesn't want to? All right. Motion's carried, Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So Barbara, when I just need you to deselect, how do I get you off as co-host? If you leave the meeting,
I
I think,
thought I tried to leave the meeting, but it didn't work.
because I need to now make Bill a co-host. I can't see my screen share on this for some reason.
There's Bill. I know, but it didn't let me leave before I tried. it's still. What is all this junk?
Just trying to disconnect Barbara so then I can get Bill
Oh.
to go next. If we can just get her
We can't connect and we can't disconnect.
yeah, really. That's highly unusual. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of options here. Let me just see.
If I walk out of the room, that won't help, will it?
Let's see if the back will. Give me some more control.
Can't do it from up there, I can do it back here. Okay, let's get Bill. You should be off and Bill should be a host and able to share the screen. Bill, you want to move up to the
You go ahead.
Okay. Finally. Sorry for the delay.
That's all right. That's a problem.
You want to go there?
Or I sit there, or does it matter?
Well, he can sit any place, right? Yeah.
That's
And
fine.
as long as you're next to a microphone, you're in good shape.
Start sharing the screen when you're ready, Bill.
All right, let me introduce Bill here. Application number 22-2330, 113 Hemlock Road, Hemlock Hill Road, Michael and Allison Rees. Construct raised boardwalk over a portion of the wetlands. Create mowed walking path within upland review area. Remove invasive vegetation and install native vegetation. And finally, to install 6 feet high deer fence. William Kenny of William Kenny Associates.
Good evening. Okay to start?
You ready to go?
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, how's everyone?
We're good. We're
Good.
good. Yep.
So this evening I'm here before you to request permission, a license regarding the property at 113 Hemlock Hill Road. Here on behalf of the owners, Michael and Allison Reese. And thought I'd just go through the documents real quick.
Okay, good.
Start with a view of the town GIS aerial photo. You can see the property downtown. New Canaan is down here at the bottom of the screen and the property is northwest. We zoom in. It's west of Oak Ridge, just south of Country Club Road and north of Hemlock Hill. There is a wetland in the western portion of the property. And this aerial shows a house that previously existed there, and there's a new house under construction.
Mhm.
I understand you've all been to the property, so you understand some of this. And that the approval for that house, because the work was outside of your certain distance, that Kathleen was able to approve that work at a staff level or indicate maybe it didn't need approval at all, or I can't recall if it's. But the wetland in the western portion of the property owners would like to provide some limited access to that through a walkway through both the buffer and the wetland. So we submitted drawings to you. That's not it. Uh-oh. See if I can. I have gotten to a part of my screen that is not. Okay. No, that's not showing up. I'm going to stop share and reshare. Here we go. Okay. All right, here's some photos of the property. This is a view north from the southwest corner of the site. The house under construction is to the right in this photo, and the wetland is to the left of the silt fence that you see there. It's mostly a meadow wetland. There's woodland along the western edge or the left edge, and some woodland at the very northern end of the property. Here's some photos within the woodland shrubland portion of the wetland. You can see a stone wall, a little bit difficult to see, but it's here in the brush, and that's the property line on the western portion of the property. And we're looking north in this photo. So there's shrubs, and a lot of these shrubs that you're seeing here are multiflora rose that have been browsed down by the deer, but they're still there. And then there's some meadow grasses, sedges, and rushes also that are present. There's a small cluster of large white pine that are present. This view is now we're at the northern property line looking south. The house is to the left. The last photo we were just looking at, we were back in this thicket in the right-hand side of the photo. So we're looking south, house is to the left, and now this is also a photo looking south, but we're back in the woodland, and you can see the stone wall along the property line here. And so this area is there's some surface water at the time that we took this photo back in March. Other documents that we submitted included a survey completed by RKW Land Surveying. This survey does show the house that's under construction now. So Kusudis Engineering is also working on this project. They are the civil engineers, so they prepared a plan showing the walkway, and where the walkway is within the wetland is a proposed boardwalk. I want to point out a typo, an error on this drawing is that there's a small area of walkway here that crosses in the wetland, and that should be a boardwalk. Our drawing does show that as a boardwalk.
Oh.
So the intent is to have a boardwalk wherever the walk is within the wetland. And so Kusudis Engineering will have them add that to their drawing. The proposed boardwalk is essentially the same design, same product that we presented to you within the last 6 months for the boardwalk at Weed Farm. But that boardwalk was wider to allow for some small equipment to drive across it. This will not be as wide as that. This is strictly for pedestrian access, so it'll be smaller in nature. And it'll be tubular steel, pre-constructed tubular steel that is prefabricated. So you put in a piece at a time and then lay down the deck on top of it, and you move along, which helps to minimize the amount of disturbance to the wetland. This is a picture of if you see the legs here, and there's a small pad at the bottom, and that's a section view, an enlargement view of that, where that's just a flat square steel pad that sits on the wetland. So you're not digging into the wetland other than to drive some stakes in to help hold that pad in place. But the legs, the tubular steel legs, are adjustable in height. So you put this in place and then adjust the height so you can make the boardwalk substantially level. On this drawing, I should have pointed out the wetland boundary is here. And the 50-foot offset from that is here. And the property line on the left and up at the top of the page. This is the drawing that we prepared. And this drawing includes, it shows the walkway and it shows that segment of boardwalk that we'll have added to the Kusutis drawing. Also shows the native trees and shrubs that we're proposing to plant, and there'll be 20. The proposed planting plan here, and we have proposed 4 different species of native trees and a total of 20 trees, and then a total of 65 shrubs with 6 different species, different types of shrubs. And we are proposing to remove the multiflora rose and some of the other invasive vegetation that's within the wetland, and to overseed with seed mixes that have native species. And those seed mixes are at the bottom of the plant list here. Lastly, we are proposing to have a perimeter deer fence. And so that would be along the northern property line and the western property line. It would be cedar posts, red cedar posts. They would be dug into the ground. So you'd have small excavations that could be dug by hand and insert cedar posts 3 feet deep. No concrete is proposed. It would just be backfilled with the soil that is removed to dig the post in. And then there would be a wire mesh fence. And that would be along the property boundary. That is
That's it.
the proposal.
This is George Perkins for the record. I don't mean to interrupt you. Do you have more to go, or are you ready for questions?
Ready for questions.
Okay. That's a pretty substantial wetland down there, very heavily meadowed. Are you going to be using, what type of equipment are you going to be using, and how do you propose to lay down the boardwalk?
So it would be similar approach that we proposed for the weed farm, where we would start at the wetland edge and lay down the first section, which is 6 to 8 feet long. So put that in place, put a decking over the top of that, and then proceed over the boardwalk itself to lay in the next.
So there wouldn't be any damage to either side at this point,
Right.
or very little.
Yes, very little. Some, when they adjust the legs, they'll step off to adjust the legs on the boardwalk.
Beth Sanford for the record. First of all, in terms of getting rid of the invasives, how will you be doing that?
It would be a mix of cutting, extraction, cutting above ground growth for things like the multiflora rose, pulling them out with something like a weed wrench, which I don't know if you've ever seen those. It's a tool that is a long lever, long handle, and you pull back on it and it squeezes you put it at the base of the plant and it grabs right at the base of the plant, and then you pull and it pops the root system out of the ground. And so it'll allows for relatively minimal disturbance.
So no herbicide.
We also, I was going to get to that. We would also like the option to do that on a very limited and spot treatment if it seems that other methods are not.
Would you repeat that, Beth? I'm not sure what you said.
I was asking about whether they were going to employ herbicides, so
Oh,
chemicals
okay, I got it. Oh.
that will, because most invasives are really hard to get rid of.
Right. Well, thankfully, their need here is the potential for their need here is very limited compared. If there was Japanese knotweed,
Yeah.
something like that spreads by rhizomes,
Mhm.
then it would be, or a mugwort, then really difficult to be successful without it. But with the multiflora rose, you can control it without too much effort, without the use of the herbicide. And that's the primary plant, and woody vines, they can also with the woody vines, we would propose to cut them at the ground surface, close to the ground surface, and if they're climbing up a tree, cut them maybe 6 feet in the air, and then just paint herbicide on the cut stem at the ground surface. So it would not be going in and spraying widespread. It would be very targeted and limited use. If I think that if you preferred that they did not use herbicide, I think that they could still have substantial success without it at this location. We had it in there as an option just in case it was really needed. But
I have could you bring the map up again that has the boardwalk as you depict it? Because we did notice when we were there on the site visit that you were mowing in the map that we were looking at inside the wetlands. So that's what you've corrected on yours.
yes, correct. So there would be a boardwalk rather than a mown walk.
Right. So when we were there, that had it mowing, and now it's a boardwalk, and just the mowing's only within the 50
upland area, non-wetland areas.
Yeah. In terms of planting all the shrubs and trees, this is maybe a really basic question, but the purpose of doing all that planting, is it aesthetic? Is it habitat, or how would you evaluate kind of what the owner's objective is?
It's both. It certainly has aesthetic value, but habitat value. Any time you introduce new species and increase the diversity, you're supporting more additional species of insects or birds, or so. It's not, there's 6 species of shrubs and 4 species of trees, so it's some, but it's not planting a whole new forest. Thanks. So there are many native plants that have beautiful ornamental value with the berries and the flowers, and so it'll have ornamental aesthetic benefits as well.
Just to clarify, you said 6 species of native trees, correct?
4 trees and 6 shrubs.
Okay, and the shrubs are native as well?
Yes.
Great.
I have a question. Kathleen Holland for the record. Bill, the number of trees based on the area that you're planting seems minimal. And was there any discussion with the owner for doubling that number or making it more significant to really fill out the area to then outcompete some of those invasives that are there? And then
the intent is to keep it open as a meadow.
Okay.
So that's why they went with a limited number. Yeah.
Okay. And then is there any consideration for some kind of bird boxes, bat boxes, butterfly boxes?
Good idea. Well, pleased to add those.
So if they, I think that's sort of a nice feature for the property. It's a wide open area, and I think you'll actually see quite a bit of activity in that meadow once it gets actually made even more beautiful. It's certainly quite nice now. It's not terrible. I mean, it and as far as the invasives, I actually think you'll have success with what your plan is by hand removal. And then, if the herbicide is needed, spot treating, it could be done, but there is a water resource in this area that I'd be concerned about. So I'd go with the hand pulling, and the root puller. And then just continued maintenance, because that's part of the program.
Yeah, this is Dan Stepanek. What is your percent kill rate, first time around on invasive plants, do you think?
At this site, if, with the physical extraction of the multiflora rose, it should be very, very high.
What's that mean? 75%, 99%,
90
90%?
with, now, that's for the individual plants that you extracted. And there's gonna be seed in the soil, so it's gonna come back.
And
But-
then what if, when it comes back, you're gonna go back out there and
Yes,
try it again and
you
you
basically,
keep working it? You'll never get them all, will you?
so many of these areas, you need to go in once a year and do this.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, just about forever, the world we live in now.
Mhm.
Unless, like Kathleen was saying, if we were to change it to a forest, then the shade is very helpful.
Mhm.
It helps to keep back many of the invasive plants. But when it's mostly a full sun environment, and I would just about any area that's open at this point in the world, in the area that we live, you need to go in once a year if you want to
Once a
keep back
year,
those
yeah,
invasives. Particularly with some of the vines, like with the porcelain berry now, and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
It's just, it's sad, but that's it's only the forests that I find that haven't been disturbed since, if they were undisturbed as far back as like the 70s, then you don't find too many invasives in them. But anything that's been disturbed since 1970,
Really? Yeah.
find a lot of invasive.
And then unfortunately, even just the, depending on what the plant source is that's coming into the property inadvertently, sometimes you bring something in that you're not
Yeah.
even aware is
Yeah.
there, and then it finds the right condition, and now they're chasing that as well. My sense of the property, it would be very well maintained, so I think you'll see that it's going to
Yeah.
be an issue, especially if they're looking to make this a feature on the property and kind of doing full landscaping to create, quite a lovely compound, if you will, and utilizing the field that is a wet meadow reasonably, it appears.
Could you, this is Dan again, could you have an aerial view of the whole property?
Yes.
I like to see where, next month, we're gonna see lot 110. This month, this year, we're talking now about lot 20. Could you show us 20 or 29, I'm sorry, 29 and 110, and where they, how close they are to each other?
Let's see if I can make this happen. Here we go.
It's about 4 doors down on the same side of the street towards West Road.
Oh, I'm gonna see it.
Yep, you're getting there.
Do you have a pointer or something you could show where?
Kathleen, where do you think it is?
Pull your screen towards the top, yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, I think.
What, for what?
Well,
There's 141. Is it even or odd?
what are we looking for? We're looking.
We're
for
looking
number
for 110 and
113. So I think it's the one right next door, Bill.
110
No,
and.
sorry, next door to where you are.
And
So
29.
go to the south.
And I want to know how 29, how close it is to 110. That's what I want.
No, so he's.
That's 183.
So he's talking lot numbers, we're talking street numbers.
Oh,
So
no, I'm
yes,
talking
so
about lot numbers.
yeah,
Lot numbers.
so Bill
Lot
needs a
numbers.
street
Lot
number is number 113. So 113, is that 113?
That's 110.
113 is the street address.
And that's 113 there? Oh, you
Wait.
don't, just, if you don't know, just tell us.
So our property, 113 is the street address, which.
Oh,
is
sorry.
here.
Well, they're both the same. One is 183 Hemlock Hill Road, and we're gonna hear
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm
next
looking at
month,
the wrong, yeah.
And then
that's right.
113 Hemlock. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I thought they were the same. 183 and 113, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's
So
two
the
different.
I thought it was the same.
Here's 183.
Yeah, yes, there we
They're
go.
about, it's about
We'll get
5
this.
lots down.
5 blocks down, I'm sorry.
It's,
I apologize.
it's almost down.
I misread that.
It's
Yeah.
almost
So
down to.
here's
yeah,
what you, whoops. Next month or next meeting, you'll be this guy. And tonight we're here for.
I hear you.
Right.
I hear
For
you.
this guy.
I
Okay,
thought it
let me
was
show it.
the same
Oh,
the
same property,
same
another
property, but you're
activity.
doing one
Ah,
lot
oh,
each
no.
month. You
No,
know
no,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, I
That's
get,
what
I
thought
get
we
it,
were
I get it.
doing.
Oh, because of the lot numbers. I see.
Yeah,
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 they're not next
yeah.
door.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
That's Sanford. I have a question. In terms of the deer fence, will that be installed exclusively by hand?
Yes, definitely in the wetland areas.
Yeah.
No problem with
And as of now, there's no deer fence.
I don't believe so.
I think there was.
No.
I don't think
I
so.
didn't see one.
Yeah.
No, I don't, I don't believe there
think
is
there
one.
is.
I don't recall one even with the previous property. That there was a home there. But yeah, these folks are ultimately going to be doing a pool as well, so they'll need a combination of deer fence and pool fence and all those measures that you have to have on a property, so.
This is George Perkins for the record. I do have kind of a silly question. I went on my own and I noticed that the 113 came before the 111. So I was kind of, there was two mailboxes and I really wasn't sure what lot it was until I got in there. Then it was pretty obvious because I saw the wetland and the construction. But it was confusing at first.
Oh, when you go up the driveway, the 111's on the left and the 113's on the right.
Yeah, this is Dan Stepanek again. How long or how many feet in the boardwalk? What did you say?
Hmm. Sure, if we provided that information, we could, oh, I have. Drawing plotted to scale. About 10 inches long, 200 feet. 10 times 20.
200 feet of boardwalk, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Roughly 200 feet, maybe 220.
And then what was the width did you said it's narrower than
Use the scale again. It should be. Up 5 feet.
okay.
So that would be about, this is Danny, that would be about 70 yards. And from here to, where would that be? The firehouse here, I guess. I'm just trying to get a distance in mind. From here to the firehouse or to the post office, would that be about 70 yards? That's a long boardwalk, I guess what I'm saying.
I just checked on the Kusuda's drawing, it's specified to be 4 feet wide.
4 feet wide.
Yeah.
Shorter than the
Yeah.
Weed Farm one, I know that.
What?
It's shorter than the Weed Farm boardwalk,
No, it is?
maybe half, I think. his
Oh,
is like
okay. Oh,
400.
wow, okay. Well, it's not so bad.
Now, this is a mini boardwalk.
This is mini boardwalk. Oh, okay.
And if you think of the nature center, all their
big.
boardwalks that they've done, I mean, there's a combination
It's a
of,
short one,
so,
okay.
so, I mean, it's sized correctly for the land.
Yeah.
You're almost 5 acres at this location, so, you know. it
So
works.
downtown where we are, I guess. I don't know if we can.
Yeah, I guess this picture.
Kathleen, did you have some special conditions that?
Similar to the previous applicant, because there's a landscaping plan that will be installed. I do like to have a final report provided by the landscape architect upon completion of the installation. So they submit that to the staff. And the other thing that sort of came up as part of the discussion is if you so desired to have some kind of butterfly, bird, or bat boxes, that the applicant provide a detail to the staff of the location and types if they ultimately decide to do that. So those two special conditions, I as part of the other discussion, as far as herbicides, I don't know how you're feeling about that, but you could have a special condition that directs the applicant, and it sounds like they're doing it anyway, to utilize,
The spot application.
no, actually utilize mechanical hand tools to but in the, measuring the success, and if not successful, then they can
Right.
spot treat
Right.
with, using obviously a licensed professional to do that, should it be needed.
Yeah.
But it sounded like that was already, sort of part of the plan and agreement, but it did come up as part of the discussion.
It should stipulate that then.
Since the original application that we received for reviewing for this meeting had the mode boardwalk in the wetlands, that one segment. If we're so inclined, should that be a stipulation in what we approve to have that be a boardwalk? I know in the materials we saw this evening, it was a boardwalk as opposed to paved, but the actual application didn't contain that. So should that be stipulated if we're inclined to have that be a boardwalk?
So I think Mr. Kenny said that he's going to have Kasu's Engineering correct his plan and submit it for the record, so
Okay.
that we'll put that in,
Okay,
that shall be submitted prior to, if you're going to approve this, actually installing.
From the sidewalk behind the town hall in the parking lot to the sidewalk on Main Street, it's about 250 feet.
Very
Huh?
good.
Nice
You're
walk.
very good at this, Bill. See, that Mac's working just fine for you.
Beth Sanford, I have a question in terms of timing in the year. Is there a better time to do the installation so it's less disruptive to the inlet?
Summertime, dry period, August, September.
So the timing's good
Yes, it's great.
project.
Yeah.
I'm just writing out a little bit of those.
We'll let
special
her finish
conditions.
over here. Any other questions? Yeah. Is 6 feet high fence, is that average for a deer fence? 6 feet?
it can be.
I'm surprised it's only 6.
What's that?
I'm surprised it's only
I
6.
know, I was gonna say. it
You
can
can
be-
jump right over that.
6 is-
Yeah, it's 6
8
feet.
8 is allowed.
Yeah, is 8 allowed?
Yeah.
Could we ask for that?
It's, these deer are very clever, and you put, the landscaping that you're putting in. If you want it to be successful, you do need to have,
Then I'd like to request that we have the option to go to 8 feet. Thank you for raising that.
so as far as special conditions, in no particular order. Well, we'll start with this one. The applicant shall provide the corrected plan regarding the boardwalk detail prior to installation. Hand tools shall be used for invasive plant removal. The landscape architect shall measure success and, if needed, utilize an herbicide through the method of spot treatment only.
By a licensed professional.
By license.
License,
That's required. You're not licensed, are you? You don't do the
No, I'm
herbicides,
not.
yeah. But I'll add it. Yeah, that is important. Details shall be provided to the staff regarding any butterfly, bird, or bat boxes to be installed. Just so we again have it in the record. And I think the last one was the final report by the landscape architect shall be provided to the staff upon completion of the installation of the planting plan. And then the fence is not necessarily something that needs to be a special condition, but I think maybe on the Kasuda's plan, just note that it's 8 feet.
Okay, it's actually, the
Or
detail
with
for
the-
it's actually on our.
It's on your plan? Okay. Then you could put it in as a special condition if you want to do it that way, that an 8-foot deer fence. If that's what you approve.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the fence will circle that, is that right? Is that how it works? Or how many sides will the deer fence be on?
It's, the intent is to pretty much enclose the entire.
Enclose it, okay. And the opening would be on the driveway there somewhere, is
Yes.
that right?
Yes.
And the opening would be on the other end of the boardwalk, right?
The boardwalk would occur
It's within-
entirely within the fenced area.
Yeah.
Is it a loop? Is the boardwalk a loop?
Looks like.
It's a short, well, the walkway is a loop.
Can you put it back up on
Yeah,
the,
sorry.
maybe on there and then they can see that?
One second.
Not a loop. Is it? There's no loop there.
So it kind of, there's a mode path that meanders down from the principal
I see what
house.
you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
And then that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
mode path.
yeah,
There's a couple
yeah.
connections.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the prop, so the fence would, let me see. on there.
And the driveway is down at the bottom there, is that right?
So fence would come down here.
Yeah,
You can just see
Whoops.
a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. That's where we came in.
Yep.
Trying to get too
Right there.
fancy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. And the neighbors have been,
They've been notified and I had no comments from any neighbors regarding this application.
I mean, really, it looks good, looks great, really, it works like that.
I just want to confirm there's no lighting on the boardwalk. Or is there?
You know, there's some language in our narrative that references lighting. I don't, this is left over. I think we used a similar narrative that we put together for Weed Farm.
Because I didn't see any detail regarding lighting.
I don't
so-
believe the intent is to do lighting.
What do you mean by leftover from what?
We submitted to you a very similar application for Weed Farm.
Oh, I see,
So
okay.
we repurposed some of the
Mhm.
documents and
Mm.
put in specific information, but I think a sentence regarding lighting was left in, was there.
And it's in there, or
It is
It's in the narrative, but
It's
it's
in
not on
the-
it's not on any of the
not
details.
on the drawings.
Right. So I don't,
but does it say no lighting in the narrative? Or what's it say, or lighting
It says that it is proposed,
proposed?
yes. Now, it was something that was proposed for Weed Farm and you approved it. It was very, but
mm-mm.
it's not intended for this application.
Not, you sure? See? I mean, well, you gotta figure that one out, yeah,
Well, I guess,
because lighting isn't gonna go with the neighbors, that's for sure.
well, that's why if you don't want it,
Well,
I-
that means it'd be,
I would
they
say
want
come-
lighting because it's gonna be
come
used.
back or,
okay, we'll have to
yeah,
come back.
I think it's just my sense is this one's not having lighting because
Yes.
it's a pedestrian.
Yeah, but let's
path.
make sure on that one.
So I'm fine with saying it's not part of this proposal. And that if we need to, we'll come back and request that.
Okay,
So we can approve it with no lighting.
No, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
but it's the neighbors we're concerned about, and I think they're probably under the assumption there's not gonna be any lighting. If there's gonna be lighting, we gotta let them know again, then you might have some issues here with the neighbors.
Sure.
Yeah,
So for
okay.
this evening, no lighting.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else? We're getting back into it now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, that's all I have.
All right, can you read the special conditions, right? All right, can we have a motion? to approve? Priscilla is making a motion to approve with conditions, with special conditions. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, I think I have to go to the back. Oh, did you get out?
I think I just was able to leave.
Okay. Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
You didn't shut down my meeting either, I don't think. Okay. All right. Are we?
All right, I guess there's no administrative actions, right?
Nope, not at the moment.
Is there any other business? Any other business?
No, we're just, I'll confirm the site visit once I know I have a quorum
Yeah.
for June. I know that Dan will not be at the meeting and Beth will not be at the meeting and Katie will not be in the meeting. Okay, so I'll have to make sure that so June 12th, none of you guys are available. Let me just write that down.
Have any, is there any promotion, has any promotion material come to you about any conferences or anything on the horizon?
Nothing at the moment.
Nothing, okay.
That's available to the commission members.
Yes.
There's the
Yeah.
online training always available,
Yeah.
so that's perpetually available.
Is anybody doing that now, online training? No. Anybody want to?
At some point, I.
Even if you just did segment one,
Yeah.
just start slow,
Yeah.
get through it.
Definitely take it.
It's really not that bad once you sit down and go through it. You'll be surprised what you learn. Or the things will come together and
Right,
maybe
right,
be
right.
more, good tools to have in your tool chest.
Good.
All
Okay,
right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second it.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Nice seeing you back here, Dan.